Hi everyone, my name is Merval. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you're finding me for the first time, make sure to hit that subscribe button and do not forget to turn on the notification bell for more videos like this. Without further ado, let's jump straight to today's video. Okay guys, in today's video, I wanted to talk about my experience flying with Ethiopian Airlines. I've been living in the United States for the past 12 years and I have flown outside of America 4 times. Out of the 4 times I've flown outside of America to Congo. I've used Ethiopian Airlines 3 times. And out of the 3 times, I've had positive experiences with them twice. And then unfortunately, the negative experience I've had with them is the recent one. So if you want to know more, stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to talk you through it so you guys are aware of what I've went through and kind of understand what you stand from there. But that is still not enough to make me switch another airline companies for my future African travels. But I think that it is important that you guys know about it. So what happened to me does not happen to you. In the event you're considering flying Ethiopian Airlines, which by the way, I would highly encourage you to do so. Let's get back to the video. I've mentioned that I've flown 4 times outside of the United States since I've been here for the past 12 years. My very first trip back to Congo, it was back in 2014. When I flew out there, I used Canada Airlines, maybe Canada Airways, I don't remember which one it is. If you guys know, let me know in the comment section down below. But anyways, that was the only time ever I've flown outside of America using a non-African airline company, right? Because if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that as an African who advocate for African entrepreneurs to do businesses in Africa or particularly in Congo because that's where I'm from, you know that I've always supported African businesses. In this particular case, Ethiopian Airlines being one of the largest airline companies in the world, probably the #1 in Africa, it's no brainer. Whenever I'm flying to Africa, I just have to use Ethiopian Airlines. Sometimes, not only that, it's reliable, the prices are much more affordable, the customer service is great, the food is nice. So, and I feel comfortable with their Airbuses too, you know what I'm saying? So, my second trip back in Congo, it was in 2020. I flew Ethiopian Airlines. My very first experience with them, which I enjoyed by the way. My second trip back to Congo, it was within 6 months after coming back in 2020. So I was in a financial position where I could afford another trip back to Congo within the next 6 months because my trip back in 2020 had opened my eyes on a lot of things that related to most things that I was doing back in Congo. So I had to fly back over there to do some of the things that I've done. So you guys have been watching my YouTube videos and this was more focused on farming. And I have a whole playlist of farming in Congo Kinshasa, which I'm going to link here in this video. So if you guys are curious to see what I've done there, feel free to go check it out. And again, let me remind you, if you have not already, subscribe to the video and make sure you hit the like button. Back to the video. What I was basically saying is that my experience with them was amazing the second time around, which was in 2021, right? And my recent trip back to Congo, it was in May of 2023, so it's been a couple of months ago. And of course, as usual, I've flown Ethiopian Airlines back to Congo again. This time around, not that I had any issue with the customer service or the food or anything like that, but the issue that I've had with Ethiopian Airlines, it was actually when I was booking my ticket here in the United States. Let's go step by step. At the moment I booked my flight, I've had put in for an opportunity within my employer, which I wasn't sure how long it was gonna take them to get to me, because usually this process, it takes a really long time. Maybe I will make a whole different video talking to you specifically about this particular issue within my employer, this opportunity within my employer. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll make a video about that. I had booked my flight to fly to Congo. Within, I believe it was a week before my trip, I heard back from my employer and I was excited, at the same time frustrated, because I was like, oh crap, now it's gonna cost me to change a date of my flights But at the same time, I'm very, very excited about this opportunity because I really wanted to do this, and I have reached out to my employer with a letter or whatever, which took them months, almost a year before they responded, and they responded positively. And that was kind of a reason. So I had to remain here in America, attend a couple of events, and make sure everything is squared away before I consider my trip back in the Congo again. And keep in mind, my trip back in Congo was just as important as my employment here. However, I live here in America. I pay bills here, so it came more of like a priority compared to flying to Congo. So I had to pause the trip. So I had to reschedule it. So basically, what I ended up doing is I called Ethiopian Airlines and I asked what my possibilities were, like what I could do at the time, because I wasn't sure of the dates and everything else happening with my employer at the time, with the conferences that I had to attend and everything else. So what ended up happening was one of the agents, she told me that what I could do is I could pay a fee, basically not to totally cancel the trip, but I could pay a fee to, basically make my my tickets open. What it basically means is that whenever I'm ready and I feel like, okay, I'm 100% sure that I want to fly there because I've taken care of, my stuff, I can just reach out to them, give them a call with the date, and they just set up the date for me. Then I'm good to go, right? So remind you, I had paid like $300 just to make my tickets available. Pay attention to this, please. I paid $300, right? Then I did everything that I needed to do here. I took care of everything. I made sure I had nothing else standing in my way as I was flying to Congo, because usually when I'm flying to Congo, I try at least to stay there at least as long as like 2 months or so. But if I can't make it to 2 months, maybe I'll stay 6 weeks, which was, by the way, the case in my last trip. So I was aiming for 2 months, but then something happened while I was there. I kind of had to fly back to America without finishing all my days there. So I ended up staying there 6 weeks rather than 2 months. But anyway, that's also a story for another day. Back to the real subjects here. So as the day approached, right, as the days were approaching, and then my trip gotten closer and closer, so I had to reach out to Ethiopian Airlines with the dates, right? So this particular time when I gave them a call, I'm speaking with an agent. So she told me, and I'm asking her about the tickets and everything. So she saw that the ticket was made open, except so she said that there was another $300 fee that I needed to pay for changing the date. And I'm like, how so? I've already paid the $300 penalty to make my tickets open, and now you want to tell me I have to pay another $300 fee on the top of what I've already paid? And keep in mind, there was a differential ticket, so meaning that whatever ticket that I was booking next, if it cost like $300 or $400 more than what I had originally paid, it means I was gonna pay them $300 more for the tickets, in addition to the $300 charge fee to make the tickets available, which amounted up to something like $600 that I had to pay additional. So $300 that I paid before, and then another $300 after I called them with the dates. On the top of it, I had to pay $300 more because the tickets that I was getting back then, it cost a little bit more than what I had originally booked, which, by the way, sucked, but that's what I had to go through. So, and then I started asking more questions to the agent that I was talking to, and I got to the bottom of the story. I came to find out that the people that I have spoken prior to speaking to Ethiopian Airlines were not even Ethiopian Airlines. Pay attention to this. It was a third party. It's not even a travel agency. It's just like a third party. I will call them, I don't know, people that negotiate tickets through other airline companies. So they will act as if they were Ethiopian Airlines or whatever airline companies as you were communicating with them. So basically, as they were putting me on holds, they were calling Ethiopian Airlines and speaking on my behalf as if they were me. And then whatever information they got from them, and they just passed that information on to me. So I paid money through that agency, thinking that I was speaking with Ethiopian Airlines, but then it turned out it wasn't Ethiopian Airlines all along. So I'm sitting here thinking, that is interesting. But when I checked my check, I was looking at my bank account and my checking account. It specifically said when they took money out, because I gave them my debit card information over the phone, it specifically said Ethiopian Airlines. So as I'm speaking to the Ethiopian airline representatives that was helping me book my ticket for the second time, right? After I had already, knew the date that I was flying to Congo, right? She said that she didn't know, so I gave her the information, the phone number, and the people that I talked to. She had no clear what I was talking. She had no clue what I was talking about. So she was like, "Okay, I'm sorry, whatever, but I don't know who you talk to, but that's not us." And on the top of it, she also said that to make your tickets open, it's free. You don't even have to pay for it. It would have been free of charge. So not only that the lady charged me $300 for something that was free, on the top of it, I paid another $300 and another $300 for the differential price of the tickets. Let me tell you, I was so pissed off that I had to pay all these fees. So I reached back out to them. I called them on the phone. I'm like, "Hey, this is what's going on. And you guys this is a deception pretty much, because you had me under the impression that you were Ethiopian Airlines, but you weren't. And now I just spoke to the agency directly. They're giving me a whole bunch of other information. So making the ticket available, making the tickets open does not even cost you anything, but I paid you $300 for it." I said, "Out of courtesy, just refund my money and I'll be out of your hair." They were not about to refund my money. They said, "You got the service that you were looking for. We've already done everything you've asked us. Piss off, we're not giving you any money back." So I collected as much information from the company as I could. So either I made a police report about this. And I was like, you know what, now I'm just, focusing on my trip. I really don't have time to deal with them, but this is something that I will deal with eventually. So one thing that I thought Ethiopian Airlines should have also taken care of on their hand is the fact that, okay, as I'm speaking to this agent, to his representatives, right? And I told her, "Listen, this is what's going on. I really don't care as much about the money, but it is also about your credibility as well." Because I try to explain to her, look at it this way. You are Ethiopian Airlines. Aren't you concerned that there might be a third-party organization acting in the name of Ethiopian Airlines, scamming people money? If anything, you should be investigating those people, because the fact that you're not even paying any attention to what I'm telling you, as far as that could be a potential scamming or happening within another third party using Ethiopian Airlines name. And I told them, because in my checking account, when it took out the money, it said Ethiopian Airlines, but this third party organization wasn't Ethiopian Airlines. So I feel like Ethiopian Airlines not doing anything about it makes them accomplice to this. Either they know these other third party agencies that are working in tandem with them, but they choose not to do anything about it, or they completely are unaware of what's happening and they just choose not to act on it, as long as they get paid for whatever services that they're providing to people. And I found it a little more disturbing, because it really bothered me, and I didn't want to address it as soon as at that time, because I had made my police report so I can have a record and something, or in the event that I was willing to take them to court and to get my money back, right? So again, I couldn't follow through with the plan, because I was more focused on my trip to Congo more than anything. So I flew to Congo, came back. I actually was still considering pursuing this case, and I actually contacted a lawyer, like a law firm office that is local, and I explained to them what was going on, and then they said they could make a case out of it. But then I was like, you know what? I do not want to take it this far. I did not want to sue them or anything like that. I'm talking about, in this case, like the third-party organization that I basically, work with. And I also filed a claim through my bank. They actually credited the amount of money that they took out, but after the bank investigated further, they found that I had given them consent, which, by the way, I acknowledge, because I gave them my credit card, my debit card information over the phone, which they used to, take out the $300. And I acknowledge that, but the problem is they acted under the name of Ethiopian Airlines, but in reality, they were not. So to me, that seems like a fraud. The fact that I was bringing this issue up to the agent, to the Ethiopian Airlines representative, and she didn't take that into consideration, that kind of blew me off a little bit. If you care about your customer, you should do something about it to make sure nothing like that happens to the next customer. You know, understand what I'm saying? So all I'm trying to say that be more careful when you're purchasing your tickets out there, especially when you're dealing with them on the phone. Make sure that is the legit number of the airline companies that you are calling. You do not want to fall into these third-party organizations, and it's just going to eat your money, and they're probably going to provide the services, but then when you find out later, trust me, you're just going to be screwed, because nobody wants to be worried about expenses that they did not plan right in the middle of the trip, because flying already, it's just as stressful and expensive, and on the top of it having to deal with all of this crap, like nobody ain't trying to do that. All right, so just be careful who you're speaking to, and in the process of like booking your flights to other places and stuff like that, so you don't end up like me. Because remind you, $900 total, and the tickets originally cost me like close to $1,200, and I spent another $900 on the top of it, including the $300 scamming that was squeezed out of my pockets, and the $600, like the $300 for the penalty, and the $300 for the ticket difference that I had to pay. So I figured that I'll make a video about it and just let you guys know about my experience with Ethiopian Airlines, in my recent trip. That's still not enough to discourage me from flying Ethiopian Airlines again, so I hope they address some of these issues so this kind of thing will happen to anybody else next time. So this happened to me. I'm more aware. It's probably never going to happen to me if I'm still continuing to fly Ethiopian Airlines in the future. So just be aware of that, all right? So thanks again for tuning in, and thanks again for watching this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube video, and yes, I'll see you in the next one.